Hi, I'm Stacy Johnson, CPA and CEO of Money Talks News. I've been offering financial advice for nearly 30 years, both on TV and today online. Today we're going to start delivering answers to your most critical retirement questions. And we're starting with a toughie, figuring out exactly how much money you need to have saved to pay for a happy, fulfilling, worry-free retirement. Will you have enough? That's the single most common and most important retirement question, because the last thing you want to do is run out of money when you're too old to make any more. So let's go through this step by step. Step one, think about how you'll spend your time in retirement. If you plan to travel a lot, take up costly hobbies, live in a fancy retirement destination, or do other extravagant stuff, you'll obviously need a lot more than if you plan to downsize and age in an area with a lower cost of living. In short, you can't begin to estimate how much you'll need in retirement without thinking about how you want to spend your retirement years. Now, let's move on to the next step, pricing it out. If you think you'll be spending more in retirement than you're spending now, estimate how much more. If you think it's going to be less, estimate how much less. I know, it's not easy to guess how much you'll spend tomorrow, much less years from now. But don't sweat it. If nothing else, just use the amount you're spending now. Don't know that number? Start tracking. There are free apps that will do it for you automatically. Once you have a handle on what you'd like to spend in retirement, it's time to move on to the next step, figuring out where that dough is going to come from. One common way to guess at how much you'll need in retirement is to use the 4% rule. Now, the 4% rule suggests that maintaining a mix of half stocks and half bonds will enable you to spend 4% of your savings every year without touching the principal. Let's use a simple example to illustrate. Assume you figure you're going to need about $4,000 a month during retirement. That's $48,000 a year. Divide $48,000 by 4%, and according to the 4% rule, you're going to need $1.2 million in savings to spend $48,000 yearly for the rest of your life. Another way to arrive at the same number is simply to multiply your annual income needs by 25. However you do it, though, the logic behind the 4% rule is solid. Half stocks, half bonds should return about 7% over time. After inflation, you should be able to easily withdraw 4% without running out of money. That being said, the nature of both markets and people can quickly change this calculus. If you suffer big stock market losses early in retirement, for example, that could lower your future withdrawals. Likewise, if you splurge with a big withdrawal in early retirement. While the 4% rule makes it look like you'll need a ton of savings, it's probably not as bad as it looks. That's because you've hopefully got other sources of retirement income, like Social Security. In fact, that's our next step. Let's figure that out. You can get an estimate of your Social Security in just a few seconds. Just go to ssa.gov and use their retirement estimator. If you're going to get $2,000 a month from Social Security, now all you need is another $2,000 to hit your $4,000 income goal. So that means you'd only need $600,000 in savings instead of $1.2 million. And that leads us to our final step, other ways to add to your nest egg. How can you fatten those savings? Well, you could downsize your home. Maybe you're going to inherit something. Maybe you'll decide to work a little longer and get a bigger Social Security check. Maybe you'll work part-time during retirement. Things like these can radically change what you might need. Bottom line, everyone's different and so are their retirement solutions. The important thing is to step back, look at where you are today, think about what you want your retirement to look like, and try your best to hit those savings goals. And the sooner you start that process, the better. Well, I hope that answered this question, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. In my next video, I'll be answering another question I get asked all the time: how you should invest your savings, both before and during retirement. And not only that, I'm going to do it without making your eyes glaze over. I promise you. I'm Stacy Johnson. I'll see you right here next time.